Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen. Sallallahu wasallam wa baraka ala nabiyina Muhammadin wa ala alihi wa sahbihi ajma'in. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Good morning, Instagram fam, friends and followers of as-Saafiy, and welcome to another episode of Revert Reflections. Last Friday, we talked about two principles. We could call them also tools for our tool belt in our efforts to respond to the doubts and the misconceptions, the dubious assertions of the atheists. And remember, our purpose in these responses, or providing responses, is not to convince the atheists, but rather to fill our hearts and to solidify our conviction, and to prevent us and help us to avoid being led to skepticism by the arguments of the atheists. And we mentioned two principles on Friday, and I wanted to kind of circle back to those principles, revisit those principles, and kind of complete our discussion on those principles, and offer some practical examples to drive home the importance of having these principles in our tool belt and using these principles in our response to some of the arguments posed by the atheists. So those two principles, one of them was al-yaqinu la yazulu bishak, that certainty must never be allowed to, doubt must never be allowed to supplant certainty. And da'ma yaribuk ila ma la yaribuk, leave what is doubtful for that which is certain. So let's look a little bit more closely at the first of those two principles, al-yaqinu la yazulu bishak. Doubt should never be allowed to supplant certainty. This principle is often alternately stated by the scholars in this way: ما ثبت بدليل لا يرتفع إلا بدليل. That which is established by evidence must remain established. So truth, which is confirmed by evidence, once we know something is true because of the evidence provided confirming its truthfulness, it must remain established as truth until its truthfulness is uprooted by an equally or more convincing proof. In other words, once we are certain, or relatively certain, brothers and sisters, that something is true because of existing evidence confirming its truthfulness, it remains true until proven rather than alleged otherwise. Failing, brothers and sisters, to follow this principle will lead us to both spiritual and material ruin. This is a common sense principle which is applicable to deen and to dunya. And just to make that clear, let me give you a worldly, secular, material analogy to just drive the point home and make it clear how important it is for us to live by this principle. This is a life skill, a life principle. Suppose, brothers and sisters, you were extremely thirsty. So thirsty that you were about to die of thirst. And you came across a plastic barrel labeled drinking water. You went up to it. You peered inside of it. It looks clear, like water. You smell it, and it is without smell, like water. As you stand there studying the barrel and its contents, other thirsty people come and go. They drink from the barrel and appear to have their thirst quenched by its contents. All the evidence now points to it being drinking water, just as it is labeled, just as it says, drinking water. So you decide to have a drink. After all, you are so thirsty that you're about to die of thirst. And just as you're about to drink, a strange man comes up to you and yells, "Stop! What are you doing? Don't drink that." It could be gasoline. It might be gasoline. It might be bleach or ammonia or some other poison in the likeness of water. So you abandon all of the evidence and certainty that that barrel contains drinking water, and you act upon the doubt cast in your heart by a total stranger. You continue on your journey in search of water, but you never find it, and you die of thirst. Brothers and sisters, this is the likeness of the one who allows doubt to supplant certainty and prefers an unsubstantiated argument to an evidence-based one. In other words, this is the likeness of a believer who will fail to follow the principles of his or her belief. Al-yaqeen la yazulu bishak. Certainty must never be allowed to be supplanted by doubt. وَمَا ثَبَتَ بِدَلِيلٍ لَا يَرْتَفَعْ إِلَّا بِدَلِيلٍ مِثْلُهُ أو أقوى منه. That what is confirmed by evidence, its truth is established by evidence, that truth can never be uprooted except by evidence which is even stronger to the contrary. Brothers and sisters, if a person did this in life, like we see in the analogy, if they did this in real life, every time they were certain of something, somebody came and said, no, I don't think that's what it is. You get to your house, you're about to go into your home, and somebody says, are you sure that's your house? I don't think that's your house. I think that's your neighbor's house. If you go in there, you might get shot. Don't go in there. And so he just stands outside. People would say this person is crazy. This person is foolish. He knows his house. The same must be said, brothers and sisters, for the one who does this in religion. Belief in Allah, brothers and sisters, is the water which we all desperately need to survive. It is the thing that we have seen time and time again change people's lives and improve their overall conditions. This is the thing, deen, belief in Allah, is the thing that we have seen fill a void in the hearts that all of the material things in the world have to offer cannot fill. People who have everything but Allah have nothing. You've seen it time and time again. And you've seen the people who have Allah, they have everything, even though they don't have anything or many of the material things. The question we have to ask ourselves, brothers and sisters, is what good moral change has disbelief made in the lives of the disbelievers? Disbelief, brothers and sisters, it doesn't fill a void in the heart. It opens a bottomless crater in the heart that can never be filled. They're just putting this and putting that and trying this and trying that. And the heart is never filled. It's never satisfied. Because it can't be filled, it can't be satisfied except with the belief in Allah. So think about that, brothers and sisters. And we'll meet again tomorrow, inshallah ta'ala, to continue this discussion on these very important principles that we have to have in our tool belt that will help us to resist being fooled, being duped, being bamboozled by the arguments of the atheists. Until then, we ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala as always to bless your houses, to bless your spouses, to bless your families and your children, your sources of livelihood and income. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to bless you and make you blessed wherever you may be. We ask Allah to bless what remains of your day, to shower you with His blessings, to surround you with His protection. هذا وصلى الله وسلم وبارك على نبينا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.